The plot to Downsizing sounded like it was going to be one of the best films I had ever seen. It sounded incredible. On paper, it completely worked, and it sounded like my kind of film because I'm a little bit obsessed with miniatures. And I'll read the description from IMDb and talk a little bit about the film, but there won't be any spoilers, so you don't need to worry about that. But if you're just wanting to know whether or not I would say it's worth watching, I'd say watch it. It had its good points. It was pretty good, but it's not amazing, so don't maybe rush to see it as the next film you watch. So the description from IMDb is as follows. A social satire in which a man realizes he would have a better life if he were to shrink himself to 5 inches tall, allowing him to live in wealth and splendor. And this film is directed and written by Alexander Payne, also written by Jim Taylor, and stars Matt Damon as Paul. And Paul is interested in shrinking down to size and becoming part of this enclosed community where basically they're all very small people living in really grand houses with this brilliant ecosystem. And it's a social experiment to see, there's a lot of stuff about sustainability and how they could cooperate and live in this controlled environment. And the premise sounded amazing, and I was looking forward to seeing people interacting with these small houses and seeing them from the outside world, because not everybody's downsizing. It's a selective thing. And there are some pretty hard-hitting issues, like if somebody wants to do this but their partner doesn't, they're just going to leave their partner behind and downsize. And it can get a little bit emotional, but I'll be honest, the first half of the film is good. It's really good. It's really enjoyable as we explore this concept of downsizing and how they begin to go about that and the process they go through before they get downsized is really, really interesting. I really enjoyed it. The problem is when they have downsized. Now, it's really interesting when Paul first goes there. We get to see these houses that they're living in and what the world is like, and that's great. But then once they start to actually live there, they might as well be living in a full-sized world. It might as well not be about people who are 5 inches. It's got nothing unique about it after that point. It had a fantastic plot on paper, and it could have been so wonderful, and they could have done so much with this, not just as a fun film, but as a socially important film, and it really let itself down. It really did not do very well. It's got a 5.7 out of 10 rating on IMDb. That's out of 96,000 reviews. So it's done, it's done okay for itself, but to be honest, it could have done so much better. I'm not sure what the budget was, but I imagine it was pretty good. I mean, if you're going to get Matt Damon, you've got to have a pretty decent budget. Christoph Waltz was in it, Kristen Wiig, several other names that are recognisable. And as I said, the first half was enjoyable. And I would happily watch the first half again. But other than that, it just really let me down. So if in 10, 20 years' time, somebody wishes to remake this and they can get the rights to it, I'd love to see a different approach to it. At the meantime, I would say watch it if you have the opportunity, but maybe don't go seeking it out.